Better late than never. Yeah. I just got out here, and apparently the children have been playing and knocked a bunch of stuff over, so I can't even get to my seat. So I'm going to prop you guys up. You're going to hear me. You're not going to see me right away because I can't even get to the chair. So, as you can see, I've got my voice back. So that's a good thing. There we go. Oh, look, you can kind of see the back of that fancy chair I got. Okay, first things first. I know I brought the cord down to be able to plug the phone in to the power strip. Let's get that in there. Ugh. Turn the power. Oh, you buggers. Turn the power strip on, and I got a bright light to my face because these little lunatics. Can I get a hold of this? I have to get a hold of this. This is going to be a fun challenge. So I'm trying to get the light that they yet again knocked on the floor. Now I got to turn it around. Why is the cord's super short because this is moved. Okay. Well, let's move that back. Get me a few inches. There. Okay, let's turn that on. This is what I have to move the light with because I cannot reach. Turn you. Stop. Oh, my goodness. They've got the bend of the thing all screwed up because it's a desk lamp with one of those really bendy. Don't slide off. There. Okay. There's that part. Now, now I have a pile of stuff. Let's tuck you in there where you'll be safe because that's an album. Oh, fricka-fracka fricka. Who remembers Frack from Battlestar Galactica? Used to say, oh, frack. Well, some of these are things I've been looking for because they need to get packed. So, I know those went to Warren, are supposed to go to Warren. I'm not sure who else the rest goes to, but I will figure it out. And let's what the heck? Why were you in that pile? Well, at least you're not hurt because you are a Miriam Hadley plate that is in my eBay store. I know why you were where you were because there's no good safe spot to put you. Now, now I need to get to the pillows that I usually sit on. And okay, there's one. Wait, there's the other. There's my back going, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. All right. Ow. I see people have come in. I haven't been able to say hello yet because there. No, don't turn yourself back off. Turn on, computer. Please turn on, computer. Oh, there we go. Oh dear, Nora's here. Sherry's here. Hello, guys. Nancy is trying to be here. Why is all my stuff, so much of my stuff is cockeyed and what the heck? They had the Zoomies 2 days ago and apparently came through this end of the living room. And I haven't been back here. It's Scout advancement time, so I've been going bonkers and I've been on Mike's computer upstairs because it's so much faster than this. Oh my goodness. So they had completely blocked me out. I'm still kind of blocked in because they knocked stuff that I stepped over in the dark, not realizing what I was stepping over. I'm a little bundled up because it's after we had that really heavy rain go through, the temperature has dropped a bit. The heater just kicked on. So hands are cold. See, I have to move stuff. I know these little darlings are sold, and I actually have to send the history with them. These were, I believe, also sold. These need to be in this box. And then I don't think that's sold. I will double check. That may be in the next, into the next sale again. What's this? Oh, that's a whole box of cards to go through that the little mongrels have knocked all over. Okay. Well, that was not why I brought this box out here, but it's now holding everything they knocked over. Except, where is it? Oh, it's behind me. Scout binder. Scout. One of my assistant scoutmasters fellows says, he says, these are Miss Krause's pirate scrolls because that's what they look like. And he's not wrong. But I don't have Excel on my computer. So what I had to do was to create a graph. And what I did is I wrote all of the requirements across the top. Am I missing one? 1, 2, 3. There we go. There's a fourth one. Now, I'm not going to show you their names, but you can see it has all the requirements on the top. Well, anything in yellow is what they did. Anything not is what they needed to do. And you can see dates where we've gotten some things accomplished. And there's other dates on there not highlighted yet because that's what I have to do and get them into the system. And we found a massive glitch. 2 kids got tenderfoot apparently in the fall, and they should have gotten Scout because somebody glitched. And they're older. They're ones that joined older. And so now somebody's dad is really irate when I had to tell him, but they aren't finished the requirements. And no, they're not going to second class because they haven't finished tenderfoot. And I tracked it down to where the problem started last night. And if somebody made the assumption that because they were older, they should have been tenderfoot already. But neither one of these young men went to summer camp. So, and it's hit or miss if they show up at meetings. So they're well behind their peers. Ow. The heck was that? Oh, okay. What? Okay, I just found this sitting on the desk. This belongs in that bookcase, tabletop bookcase, because that's where all my micro minis are of Harry Potter. And I'm pretty sure that goes to one of the Harry Potter ones. Why is that out here? Honestly, having-nosed cats. It is very much like having a bunch of children. Why? Come on, laptop. Wake up. There we go. I'm spoiled working on Michael's laptop. First off, he's got a massive screen. well, not massive, but he's got a big screen and his computer works so much faster. 35 Fahrenheit. Oh, and light snow. Oh my goodness. Oh, did I just open up the wrong? Yeah, we want this Chrome. So, yeah, we aren't getting snow, thank goodness, but all that heavy rain, thank goodness that it tapered off so we both could go to Boy Scouts. There actually was a question about whether Scouts was going to happen because the creek that runs right next to the building was getting pretty high, and we were afraid it was going to jump its banks. So that was an issue. Okay, so that is, can't lose that piece of paper because that has some books on it that need to get listed. It has what I should list them at. So I have not had the ultrasound yet for the hernias because now I called because I hadn't gotten an approval number for the health insurance, and turns out I do need one. So now I'm waiting on them to call me with an approval number because I really need that ultrasound so I can have the CAT scan, and then we can see about what we're going to do to fix these suckers. Okay, computer, anytime you want to get there. Honestly, since I had gone 2 months not using this thing a lot, and then it did all these downloads, updates, it's just slow as molasses now. I don't even know what operating system is on this thing, but it's very, very, very slow. We're supposed to have all of our merit badge choices for the Scouts in on Saturday. And now I read something that they just sent out yesterday that you can only register the kids who've already been registered for camp and the deposit placed. Okay, so that means I need to find out who we've already actually paid for. Yeah. And not most of the kids did not give me their merit badge information of what they wanted to take. So I'm just going to register those who already got me, and then to follow the buddy system, we will figure out others around them to make sure they have a buddy for all of their classes. I'm pretty sure of the ones I got, they're almost set anyway because a bunch of them are taking Eagle required. And of the 6 kids, 4 of them are taking the same Eagle required. So they're going to be just a block unto themselves. I have to see about the other 2. But their amount of Eagle required merit badges, it is, what are you doing? Why did you just weirdly come up with 3 screens? What is up with this computer? This is going to have to be on my Christmas list this year. Get a new laptop. This one's a hand-me-down from Michael. Or hand me up, right? Hand me up if it's from your kid. It's still trying to get onto Chrome. So that, oh, there we go. We want YouTube. My goodness, it's so slow. Yeah, the winds were super bad. I am super tired. I took a nap again this afternoon. I slept late. With the storms come through, and they had some serious wind. And since the roofer had been up there, he actually had ripped up part of the tarp where it was nailed down. And that was a problem because now the tarp just goes flappity, 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 flap all night long. I was so tired. Can I switch account to the other one? Somehow my sign-ins are all messed up for YouTube. But I have to go and do it this way to get into this overstuffed house. It's a pain in the neck. I should be able to just go to this overstuffed house. Oh, Sugar Britches is still, she's having an ephemera sale tonight. Usually they're a book sale on Thursday nights. So if anybody wants to go shop, I don't blame you. Tonight is not a sale. It's just a chat. So if you want to hop over to Sugar Britches, Sweet Ass Stuff, and go see Lorianne and Gino, it's probably getting near the end of their sale. You can do that. I don't mind. I get it. But I'm trying to get to my own channel. My brain is just fried. So how many of you have had that where you've just had so much on your mind for so long, and then when stuff is finally getting to the wire and getting done, you just find that your brain is kind of just fatigued already. It's just kind of waffled out on you, because that's what today's kind of been. And so I didn't sleep well because of the flapping of the tarps. And then we thought that the roofer was going to try to get here today to do some of the smaller work, because we need a long patch of dry weather for him to do the big repair. And he wasn't able to come. So that made it problematic. And and so we thought he was going to get here today. So I made sure I got up at 7, and he didn't get here because one of the houses that they had been doing stuff on, they are almost done. And apparently a tree branch has now gone through, a tree branch now went through their stuff, that part of the house that they did. So they now have to take a whole chunk off and redo it. And that sucks. You think you're done, and then some outside force breaks what you've done. I've had stage sets where that's happened, where people have done stuff and then broken something on stage. And then you've got to kind of rebuild, though in my case, there was something we had to actually, it wasn't a state of repair. It was, we had to rebuild and repaint and do the whole thing over again. There, I took my meds. The best one was I had to build a captain's cabin for HMS Pinafore, because it takes place on the top deck of the ship. So you have heaviest guys that were in the group. And I didn't want there to be any problem. So I built the framework. And I had this guy who was an architect come in and try to tell me, you've done it all wrong. You don't know what you're doing. This will never hold. It's not up to OSHA standards. You don't have crossbar here. You don't have a crossbar there. And I'm like, yeah, because that's a porthole and that's the door. So no, there's not going to be crossbars there. And then he decided, he goes, yeah, well, I'll tell you how crappy you built it. I'm going to tear it down with one yank. So he goes up and he gives it a little yank. It doesn't move. This idiot then proceeded to grab it again and put his entire weight into it, and he popped his shoulder out. Not completely, but he did pop it out, and somebody had to help pop it back in, and he hurt himself, and he was pissed. And I don't care, because he just had this attitude that a woman wouldn't know how to do any basic carpentry. And I pointed out to him that I have a lot of years in set building for stage, and they are not the same standards as OSHA for building a house. Because for a house, you want a permanent structure. For a stage, it's not meant to be permanent, but it must be secure and safe. You can't, you know, when you have a foundation and all that, and outer walls and inner walls, yeah, you can do a certain amount and have it be secure. But on stage, you don't have that inner wall. Everything is just a framework and the outer wall, just what the audience sees. And I knew this had to be secure, so I had it attached not only to the floor, but I had it attached to the ceiling. I had it attached to and it broke 2 drill bits to do it, but in that theater, it used to be an old barn, and there is this monstrous old wood center of a tree that is one of the support frames for the wall right there and for where the curtain is. And it broke 2 drill bits to be able to get screws into that, to run a piece of wood that would tie it into that and run it all the way across the front of this captain's cabin. And I said, that thing's like iron. It's not going anywhere. Because I also made a point of the parts that I had actually secured onto the building. The piece coming out from the wall piece came out this way and attached onto the floor, not this way, but this way. It attached onto the floor of the captain's cabin's upper deck where the wheel was. So that would give it more security. Yeah. They were folded in half, and I thought I left them on the desk. If they're not, they might be in the pile of papers that are now on your chair. But what I did then is the other piece went up to the ceiling, and I put that onto a main beam of the ceiling. Instead of one of the studs this way, I put it on one of the main beams that ran that way. So again, it is well secured to a solid chunk of wood that's not moving. But what I did is, as this piece went this way and the other piece came down this way, so I made sure they made a tight right angle. And because that corner could not be seen by the audience, I also, where they met, put in a triangle piece to add more security to where they met. So that corner had a triangle that basically came down like this, here, and here. So it adds even more security. I've seen that done a lot in community theater, and this guy had never seen it before, so he thought it was nothing. So sometimes you can't just assume, because if you don't know what kind of experience the other person has. But yeah, that was one where he thought we'd have to start over from scratch, and because he didn't know. Yes, thank you. And yeah, I had to clear the way because apparently the children got in here and knocked lots of stuff over. The packing list, I need that. So, how has everyone been doing? I know we don't have too many here tonight. That's okay. I was looking at my calendar and I realized that we kind of got off kilter. But we'll go to the end of the month, and then it's like the beginning of next month, it's going to reset so that way it's a live chat for when I go to summer camp and not a sale. And this summer camp's driving me up the wall. Okay, let's see. Star Scout. He's had his board of review was yesterday. So that was what, 4-3? I want to quick get some of these things in here. Yep, 4-3. So that I don't forget them. So this is great. I was so happy. They had enough adult volunteers to be able to run 2 review boards. So we were able to get through not only the ones that were already set up, but we were able to get through the scouts who had brought in requirements and had to do their sheet right then and there. And so we got them squared away. Did I get Braden in? Yes. Yes, Braden got in, but he's got so much other stuff there. I can't put him in yet. There's certain ones that aren't going to be on here, and I wanted to make sure I got them in. And I was working on this before when I was upstairs, so I thought, well, let me just bring this down here and we'll quick do it together. So you get an idea too of what I do all the time. Okay, Frankie got done last night. I can go back to the troop roster and I can put him in. Oh, he's well on his way. He'll be star by the fall. That's good. This is the fun of, you know, it's so much paperwork. It's just so much paperwork. I think I'll wait. These were my pirate scrolls there. I'll set them aside. But we've got an awful lot of kids that now have made it to first class. Everything after that is tied to leadership positions and merit badges and service. So it's a lot easier to keep track of than all these millions of little. George got this one, but not this one. It is so much paper. I miss our old system. What? Why did you log me out? No. What are you doing to me, computer? Don't mess up Scout Book. Da, 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 da. I'm not kidding. This computer is seriously issues. But we got through an awful lot. Now, we're not apparently getting through anything next week because it's Patrol Leader Conference. So we'll see what happens there. This young man got through 2 of his 3 board reviews. This kid has busted his tail so hard. He is jumping through 3 lower ranks. He had board reviews for 2 of them last night. But then he's got, he has to be at the service time thing this weekend. And then he's got a couple other requirements to email me about. And then he'll be done that one. He ended up getting sick, so he missed a meeting. So he's 1 behind. But he is pretty cool. What is this? This is second class. Okay. Get on. And this is one of the things that why it takes so long. If this were all just on paper, it'd be so much easier. And you know, you just check it off when you were there, which is what we used to do. But now everything's all computer things. And I still keep a hard copy because for all well and good of being all this technology, a lot of times when you're at summer camp, and that's when I get a chance to usually to sit down with every kid that goes at some point and go over their advancement and see how they're liking scouts and mentor them. It's easier to show them where they're at in their scouting advancement on a sheet of paper where all the ranks are in front of them and all the requirements are in front of them than it is to try to flip through screens on a computer, because that doesn't always work. Was 3. That definitely does not always work. And a lot of times at summer camp, in the campsites, you don't have internet access. And then when you go up to the dining hall where they have Wi-Fi, you've got maybe 300 or 400 people all trying to ping on that Wi-Fi. So that's not helpful. So I still keep, and we did have one point where we had the system, the actual servers for the thing we were using went down. And so my hard copy was the only thing that they still had. I don't know that he got done. It was the only thing that they still had. So that was a definite problem. If something happens to the server and it all gets dumped, and that was the second time it had happened, because we had one time where everything got saved in the cloud, and apparently that portion of the cloud, that particular server, had something wrong, and they dumped everything off of that server, which was bad for us because that's where all our stuff was. Let's see, did Ian get his? Yes, he got his. So I always keep that backup one. So Ian is now Life Scout. Yay. Most of our troop though is first class or younger. Under. Can't help that. Like so many youth groups, pandemic nailed us. Leader approved, they took care of that. Oh, that was 3. I thought that was the wrong date for when I did his Scoutmaster conference. It's order review. I want to at least get the known ones in. So how are all of you doing? Who's had bad weather in their area? Did you guys make it through okay? Because I have to admit, I was definitely worried about some of you. I saw those weather reports of when things were coming through. Brian Hall, y'all had, tornado watch on the ground for some areas. And there were all kinds of flood watches around here. A couple of real bangs of thunder. And then one, I think, was a transformer exploding not far from us. Because it just didn't sound right. It absolutely did not sound right to have been lightning. There's a different lightning. It's a crack kind of noise. This was not. This was a loud bang. And there was a flash of light that seemed like it was blue, which would mean transformer. So yeah, we had a little surprise going on here. Definitely had a little surprise. It was somewhere that way, but we got through it. The cats instantly, with the first crack of thunder, Michael suddenly had all the cats were on his bed with him. It was so funny because the first crack, there was a really bright flash, And I said I turned around at him and I'm like, because I'm at his desk working on the computer. And I said, was that a bright flash or did the lights flicker? And he said, oh no, that was lightning. Now, so far, we still haven't heard anything, right? And I went, well, where the heck is the bang? And then we hear this. Have you ever heard those lightning strikes where you hear this little crack first before the window shaking bang? That's what we had. It was loud. It was window shaking loud. I can't imagine how that sounded wherever it actually hit, because it sounded like it had been right over our house. Windows were shaking. Scared all the cats. I mean, 3 of them were already in the room with us, but 2 of them very, very quickly appeared. Even the doctor came upstairs to find us. She laid down at my feet. They were not happy kitties. But for it to be that loud with that much of a delay, I just felt bad for whoever was right underneath it. Oh, that's right. Nora, your area was where the soldiers that died in the helicopter crash. Women's basketball. I saw some highlights of that, and they were making fun of Fox News for their coverage of the women's basketball. But there were those 2 women. I mean, I used to do free throws in high school because I was lousy playing anywhere else. But, you know, I could do the free throw. So that's all I was there for. If they had the 3-point, you know, do the shot, stand there, do the shot, get the extra points. But some of the shots that those 2 women were doing were amazing. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal, who was a pro basketball player, came out and said that the only basketball he's watching right now is women's college. One of them, her shot to the net was from past the center court line. And I don't mean past as in past it on the side of the net. She was past it in the back behind that center line and lobbed that ball and arced it, and it went right into the basket. Just nothing but the net. It was amazing. I don't know if I'll be able to see the eclipse. It all depends on the weather here. One of my Boy Scout families, they're taking their kid to Ohio to go see it. They're taking him out of school to go see it. Yeah, the commentator for the game was cool to listen to from the actual news clips I saw. But the commentators at Fox made me laugh for how completely inept they were and the stupidity that came out of their mouths about women's basketball. Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know if I'll see the eclipse. Well, yeah, Albany, New York. Yeah. I've been up there. Not a lot to do around Albany. But, yeah. Oh, I didn't have a lot to do. We got real good at frisbee. I got really good at badminton because if we didn't even bother to set up the net, we just put some kind of board or a line for the center, and we'd do it on my front lawn, just whacking that thing back and forth. So I got really good at badminton. But because of my heart, there weren't a lot of sports I could do. I couldn't run around because my heart would skip beats and do weird things because of the murmur. This child, there he is. So, but badminton, didn't have to move too much. And then in high school, when I did my last 2 years in public high school, the girl I grew up with, Daria, had been born a little premature, and she had problems with the muscles in her eyes, so her eyes always kind of wobbled like that. So she couldn't do real sports, but she and I they'd put us in the gym and let us play badminton. But try doing that for Jim for 2 solid years. I got to the point where, well, she did too. We would just hit it, and we were trying to loft it up over the metal girders that held the gym roof on. And we actually got told that if we lost any more birdies up there, we would have to start paying for them. Week before graduation, doesn't she start lobbing them up there again? The last day of gym class, we put 3 of them up there. We're just evil children. Yeah, we put 3 of them up there on the last day of gym class. That was mean. They would have started the following year without any badminton birdies. That was mean. I do have to admit that I still wonder if they are still up there. I do wonder if they're still up there on that girder. Warren! Okay, Warren, I can't say I didn't forget you. I honestly can't say that this time. Because we had the roofer show up, and well, we had a couple roofers, these credits, and we had one that actually was really good and good price, and I don't have to get the entire roof done, which is good because we couldn't afford that. But between that and Scouts right now, it's just, I did forget you this week. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And you even sent me a reminder email, pictures, and I still forgot to do it. I'm sorry. Oh, I go through this every April, every October. This year it's worse. It started in March, and we're trying to do summer camp stuff, which to me is just bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Because usually I'm so spoiled, I'm used to doing this summer camp stuff earlier than this. And they didn't release what the merit badge choices were. They only released that 3 weeks ago now. 3 weeks, and then you're 3 weeks, and the first week the kids didn't see it because we had gotten it. They released it on a Wednesday, and we had our Scoutmaster meeting for summer camp the following day. So we didn't get a chance to get it to them the day it was issued out. So they've only seen it for 2 weeks, which one would think would be enough time. But with board reviews coming up, parents are waiting because they want to see, where their kids are at. And I can't really send out notices of, what they need if I don't know if they've made it through their current rank. And it's just been a hot mess. It really has. Absolutely has been a hot mess. So I am hoping to get caught up. There is Scout stuff this weekend, and I am trying very hard not to go. So, oh, thank you, Warren. That's very sweet of you. Because it's just, I've put so much time this year. I've never taught so much stuff. I mean, usually I'm teaching merit badges. I've never had to be so hands-on. But most of the older kids, those 14-year-olds, those that wanted to work at it and have, the ones that have wanted to work on it and have are all making first class. There's 3 of them that have jumped 3 ranks, tenderfoot, second class, and first class, because you can only do that in the lower ranks. There's another 4 that have jumped second and first class. And so once they get to first class, it's all merit badges. So they're all looking forward to summer camp, because now they don't have to fiddle with requirements for these lower ranks at summer camp. They can just go have fun do merit badges and do open swim and open shoot, and you don't have to be sitting in the campsite with me or another scoutmaster working on requirements for the lower ranks because you're finally done. So that also frees them up for summer camp to actually go do more of the stuff that's open for everybody at camp. So those guys are really looking forward to it. Now, I'm very proud of the ones who have really worked hard, because some of them, it has been hard. One young man, his parents own a Chinese food place, and he's also a wrestler in school. He's also taking piano lessons on the weekends. The wrestling team has gotten into the state championships, so it's taking time away. But he still, even though he brought the very last thing in last night, he still did it. He still got there and got through all 3 ranks. I'm so proud of him. He has tried so hard. And it was funny because they can't have their board review if they don't have their uniform. And he had the shirt, and he was so upset because he still had his sweatpants on from wrestling practice. So he's like, I can't go in. I don't have my pants. And I'm like, we have that closet in the back full of, we have a uniform exchange. Go find a pair of pants. He comes out with a pair of shorts, and he's holding them up to his mother and I, and he goes, yeah, these will work. And he goes and puts them on, and he doesn't come back, and he doesn't come back. And finally he comes back, and he's walking kind of stiff, like his hips won't move. And his mother started giggling, and she turned away. And she's standing next to me, and she quick turned to the wall because she was laughing. And he said, Miss Krause, they're not going to ask me to tuck in the shirt, are they? And I looked at him and went, yes, they are, because that's the proper attire. You should have the uniform shirt tucked in. And he went, oh, I need to go find another pair of pants. And as he walked away, we realized why. The pair of pants he grabbed that he just kind of held up to see if they would fit were so tight on that poor kid. He couldn't even walk right because he couldn't bend his legs. They were on him like they were painted on. He couldn't even tuck the shirt in. He had to go back. So his mother went with him and helped him get a proper size pair of shorts. But he was so desperate to get in and have that border review that he just couldn't. He just couldn't quite. He just was so eager. He took the first pair he saw, and that wasn't going to work. But he's a good kid, and he'll be all right. He's still that this side of maturity where he's a little bit of a goof off and will put stuff to the last minute, but he manages, even if it's by the skin of his teeth, he does still manage to get his stuff done. But yeah, it was so funny. It's so funny to see him try to walk, and he looked, he's trying to bend his knees, but he cannot move the hips at all. That was comical. I haven't seen a kid do that. That was a first for me. That's okay. He did find a pair that fit properly, and he got his border review, and so now he's done. He's jumped 3 ranks, and he was so happy. He came out to me and he fist bumped me. Which I'm like, wow, I've not had anybody do that to me in a long while. I didn't know kids still did that. I didn't know that was still a thing. Hello, Penny's Pit Stop. Morning. Oh, that's right. It would be morning for you. It's not morning for me. It is 11:24 p.m. for me. And where is this one? So I can mark him off. And so while I'm talking to you, I'm trying to do some scout paperwork. I'll save the more difficult stuff for tomorrow. because I'll still have to get up at 7 tomorrow because he's still hoping to be, the roofer is still hoping to be here. And at least start getting the vines down. Wants to set a trap for the 2 raccoons, get them out of here, which would be great. Where is... Oh, here he is. Ooh. I will have to double check that kid. I can't mark him off unless he does the service time this Saturday. And then this young man was so busy getting his first class merit badge, he did not finish. This one finished. I can just get in the ones that have all their requirements in and done. Double check here. Oh, she doesn't have the dates they were done. Jarvis. Huck. Oh, Huck's going on that day. Okay. So far, we have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 scouts have had border reviews to go to the next rank. And Michael's had all 3 of his done. George has had 2. He's got 1 more to do. Jarvis will be doing 2 next time. He's done 2. And he's done 2. By the time we get there, his one will be done his last, so he'll have all 3. Yeah. Oh. Oh, you're still working on my box. Uh-oh. The longer I know you, the longer it takes, the bigger the box. The bigger the box is gonna be. So that was like Christmas the last time. It was great, actually. While I'm thinking of you. My throat's starting to go. By the time I came home last night, I had done so much talking that my voice was starting to drop and my throat was starting to hurt because I had talked to so many people and so many kids and so many parents. I never got a chance to sit down at all. But I also never walked more than 3 or 4 feet. I ended up standing still for most of the time, and everybody kept coming up to me. And at one point, I had a line of 3 parents waiting for me. That was a lot. It was definitely a lot. So let's see. Get it written into the book. How is Mary doing, by the way, Nora? Because last time I had a chance to check in on her channel, she had to cancel a few sales because she was sick. I hope she's doing a lot better now. She's such a sweetheart. Mary's channel is have brain fatigue. When did my throat? Oh, my throat. My throat finally. It took about 2 days. I had like no voice the night before it happened, and they had to. They were really concerned before they actually like sprayed something in my throat so I wouldn't gag and actually intubated me in the ambulance. That was not fun. But it was a precaution because everything inside was swollen shut. I've never had it be that bad, but I've never been standing within 7 feet of somebody who drops a thing of bleach and it just basically cracked open, and Mike couldn't get me out of there fast enough. And so I made it to the end of the aisle and dropped to my knees because I couldn't breathe. And oh, I'm glad she's doing better. But it wasn't just from having everything swell up, it was from that intubation tube, because to get that down, they have to go through the vocal cord flap and it rubs. And I kept my eyes closed. I just kept trying to focus on breathing and not panic because it's very uncomfortable and very hard to breathe through that. And they were like, "Look, if you can't, we'll bag you." And I thought, man, and they kept wanting to go to the hospital, and I said, "Just give it. You gave me a shot. You gave me an EpiPen shot. Got the bruise on my hip. Jesus, it's the size of a ping pong ball. Um, Never had one of those. They hurt a lot. Um, but it's what they needed to do. And so it took that EpiPen was fast. If I had taken Benadryl tablets, it would have been 20 minutes before I could breathe again. It took 5, but those 5 felt like 30. And it was scary. I've never, even the bee sting, when Mike shoved 4 Benadryl down my throat, when my tongue swelled up, my tongue had swollen up. My throat was swelling closed. They intubated me just in case. They were giving me oxygen. They gave me an EpiPen. I think the only thing that helped the most was the fact that I was not going to give in to panic. I absolutely was not going to give in to panic. And but they wanted to take me to the hospital, but I know what happens at the hospital. They will give me an IV. They will make sure I have fluids, just because that's what they do anyway. And they'll keep me for observation. And they won't find anything because the medication will have already done its work because you shot me with an EpiPen. And I will still have a sore throat, and there's nothing they could do about that. So I said no. No. If it had not started to go down, I had a time limit. I wrote it on a tablet because I couldn't talk. It had 15 minutes. If there was no change whatsoever in 15 minutes, we're rolling to the ER. Get me there. But within 5, the swelling all started to go down. Within 15 minutes, I was talking. They could take the thing out. I was rasping. Let's not call it talking. Let's call it what it was. I was rasping. And it was painful. Because when they tell you to try to cough as they pull that thing, but that tube does scrape the vocal cords, which damages them. So you guys heard it from the next day, and I still sounded that bad. I had like nothing, and that took a lot of effort just to do that video. But I know some of you get worried about me if you don't see me, and considering what kind of goofy crap has happened for my health in the last 2 years, I completely understand your worry. And I'm now to the point where I do agree with you. We should just wrap me in a giant bubble. I'm willing to be the kid in the plastic bubble. Remember that that was on TV decades ago, the boy in the plastic bubble? Wasn't it John Travolta was the boy? I'm now ready to agree with that. We should just wrap Nancy in plastic and not let her leave the house. Just, oh my goodness. But yeah, the throat's better. I'm back though to I talk for so long and then it starts getting sore, so I do tend to suck on cough drops a lot. That takes time, and it's doing well, and I'm doing well. The only other thing that I've had is I had the fun of a kidney infection, and I had to take Cipro. Oh, I hate that stuff. Cipro is a knock you on your backside, and it always gives me headaches. Gives me such headaches. That's why I took a nap today. So That's why the hat's staying on. I had a choice, take a shower, take a nap. And I thought, this head is killing me. So I took 2 Tylenol and I took a nap. And it should finally be out of my system. This headache is not migraine status, but it was enough. So hopefully that will be out of my system maybe by tomorrow. Cipro takes a couple days to finally clear out completely. And anytime I've been on that antibiotic, I've started having headaches. It's just one of the side effects that I happen to get. It's the only real side effect I get from Cipro. So I count myself lucky because a lot of other people get Montezuma's revenge from Cipro. So I'm doing better. I'm glad to hear Mary is doing better. Oh, you can't take it? You're allergic? Yeah, I have problems in that some of the dye tests. Now, most dye tests are no longer iodine based, but every once in a while you come up with one that still is. And I'm allergic to the iodine. You cannot give that to me intravenously. I get the shakes, I get the dry heaves, I break into a rash. It's not fun. So, Nora, I feel for you. Let's see. Reclaim Treasures by Mary, because my brain just did not connect there. Let's see if I can find her. Reclaim Treasures. There she is. There's her latest video. Her latest live. Oh, you poor darling. She hasn't had a video out in 3 weeks. Or a short. Oh, you poor darling. She's really been sick. She's been like me lately. She's been catching one thing after another. But here is if I could spell E-A. Honestly, I do think that's some of the Cipro is you could get brain fog from that. And I think I've definitely got it. All right, there's a link for Mary. Yeah, because I thought there was a video of her cleaning out a storage locker or something, not a locker, but some truck or something that was out back. Her treasure trailer. I saw that last month, like the middle of the middle of March. Mike has wondered about us getting, for the summer anyway, one of those pods that you can stick in your yard, and so that it would give us a just a spot to put things, because that's one of the problems here. You want to clear out, but you don't have any room to properly sort, and you have stuff you might want to hang on to, but you don't have anywhere to put it because there's no empty spots. So if we had his theory is if we had a pod, and even if we don't immediately do the black hole challenge room and give me an office, we have to we at least get to the dining room table, to the whole table. I'm a little concerned about that because I don't want to go putting fabric in something that's outside where the dampness might get to it. That worries me. But we'll see. Because a lot of that fabric's just in bags. It's not really stackable. So we'll see what we can do about that. And okay, so he got his. But it's a thought. It really would work, and it'd be so nice to have it actually in the yard and not have to like drive somewhere else like you would for a storage unit. And they're a lot cheaper than a storage unit. But the roofer has to be first because he's got to have somewhere, and the only place is in the side yard. He's got to have somewhere to put where he's got to put all the junk from the roof. So we got to get that done first. So this kid's been making plans of how can we organize better, and we've had a lot of go rounds about what might work, what hasn't worked, what we thought would work from last year, and then it didn't. So we're still trying. He's still trying to help me figure out, and I'm still trying to get stuff done, and I just am not good at juggling it all. And I need to get better at that. I absolutely need to get better at that, of juggling it all. But I know right now, I know I'll feel better once the roofers actually do show up and get that started. Yeah. First thing that's problem is we need decent weather. Yeah, now see, in my area, try 200 a month or more. 200 a month for the smallest ones. There's a lot more of them in my area, but they're all the cheapest price we could get was 199, and then once you add the tax, you're over 200. And that was for I think it was only 5x6. So yeah, they're not inexpensive in my area. They're not. And I've seen people on YouTube channels that go, "Oh yeah, and mine's only this," and I'm going, how is it only that? Because I would love to have that. But yeah, in my area, the cheapest one was a 5x6, and it was just over 200. For a pod, though, for a pod, yeah, that's what he was looking at. Because for the pod for us, it would be, they were running a special for this area, but we can't take it because we got to do I can't lose this. Stick that there. We have to do the roof first because that's where they'll have to stick the truck that's going to take all of the stuff. Hey, Sugar Britches. Yeah, what? Your name's not Sugar Britches. I said Sugar Britches, and I'm hearing meowing from the hallway. Lorianne, I think one of the cats likes your name. So, so we realize is that some things, it's like that jigsaw puzzle, those slider puzzles, that this piece has to move here before this piece can move up here, and so that's what we've got right now. So, but he's seriously considering it. Get that pod in and give us a chance to clear out a little more and have some more workspace. What? Well, come here. You're doing all this talking to me. Which kitty is that? Hi. Well, what? You can come say hello. They all love you. Come here. Come here. What's the matter? Come here. What? Oh, come here. Oh, big boy. Oh, big boy. You're out there. Say hello. This is Aragorn. Say hi. No, you were the one walking down the hallway making all the noise. Why? Because you think mom should be in bed so you can come sleep on my feet and trap me in the bed? He lays across my ankles and his stomach will be like curved down, but he's literally lays right across my ankles, locks me right in that bed. Well, good to see you, Lorianne. I'll be watching your ephemera sale you had tonight. I'll be watching the playback of that. So, but yeah, this is Aragorn, our golden-eyed boy. This is the one with the smooth brain. No ideas stick to that brain for very long. Yes, I'm talking about you. You were incredibly stupid today. Did you jump on Doctor? Did you jump on Doctor again today? How did that go? I saw that. That didn't go well, did it? Yeah, I keep telling you, you can't play rough with the Doctor. Doctor is not Gimli. You cannot play rough with her like you can Gimli. Yeah, you can't play rough with the Doctor. No. Doctor is too old for that. She's 14 now. You guys have just turned 2. What? I heard somebody. Well, go on, go see. He's an idiot with the Doctor. His way of playing with her is like he plays with his brothers. You pounce on them, pin them to the ground, and then you run away, thinking that they will then chase you. The Doctor's 14 years old and was raised with dogs. This cat play, she doesn't understand. And she's old. And he did it again. You'd think he'd learn. He jumped on her. She had him on his back in seconds with her paw on his chest and right in his face, just hissing right in his face. And he looked terrified. And it's his own fault. This is not the first time this has happened. He seems to think he'll have a different outcome every time he tries to get her. And it's just not. It's not going to be a different outcome because he's an idiot. He's a sweet boy, but he's a bit of an idiot. Yeah? What? Are you afraid it was Doctor you heard? Because you're being real cautious to leave. Oh my goodness. He's a special boy. Very special boy. Oh my goodness. But he's something else. Definitely something else. So I have to go through the packing list because these wahoos knocked over a couple of plates and broke one. And I don't know who that was supposed to go to. So I will have to find out. Plus, I've heard back from somebody who only wants half of the stuff that they had before. So I have to find all that separated. I only had half of her stuff that I found. We'll get there. I am getting there. Nope. That's not it. Oh, Lorianne. I thought I had sent that, but I just realized I didn't. And it's sitting over there. Okay. Oh my goodness. So that's been they have spring fever. They're zooming all around. They've now been locked out of my room. They've been locked out of Gary's room. They're now locked out of the playroom. I came down this morning, well, late this morning, almost afternoon, And one of them had gotten to a box of cereal and tore apart the cardboard box, but apparently did not like the knockoff shredded wheat with frosting on it, because when they put a little hole in it, and there were like 3 or 4 on the floor, but that was it. But boy, that box is in pieces because somebody likes chewing up cardboard. So usually, though, when it's got something, food inside of it, that's Frodo. The last time he got bored, which was last week, I came down to find powdered mashed potatoes. It had been in a food box that Gary got, and it was only a bag, about yay big, but it was a plastic bag, that hard plastic, and he had no trouble shredding that. It was all over the stove, all over the countertop next to the stove, all over the floor, and I wondered what that burning smell was, but Gary just didn't even pay any attention. He cleaned out what was in the frying pan, but didn't bother to clean up what was on the stove. So when, of course, he lit the flame to cook his eggs, did you know that powdered mashed potatoes can actually set on fire? And then I heard the cussing because it was on fire and creating lots of smoke, because Gary's a twit. So yeah, there was that, and so they're bored. I just don't know what to do with them. They've lost half their toys. They have these crinkly balls they really, really like, and I don't know where they all are. I have checked under the stove. They can't get under the fridge. Mike has one piece of furniture they can get under, and I think that might be where some of them are, because Aragorn keeps trying to get under there. What? You're stalking. What are you stalking? I don't hear anybody. So they've been just up. Now, when it rained, they wanted to sleep all day. But today, by the afternoon, it wasn't warm, but it was bright and it was sunny, and they had the zoomies most of the afternoon. So they should sleep well tonight because they're all finally calm. Little catnip helped about 2 hours ago. So the only one still up and around is whoever we heard go in to the other end of the living room, which probably was Frodo or else the doctor. And then he will go wherever I am because he keeps wanting to sleep with me. But he's such a bed hog, and I only have a twin bed. I cannot have him sleep with me all the time because he's just too big. And it's not fun when you're somebody who likes to sleep on the back and then likes to roll over, because I can actually finally do that now and sleep on my side sometimes. And then you suddenly have this, 12 pounds or 10 pounds of cat or whatever he weighs spread across your ankles. You're not moving. I just can't move, especially with the pinched nerve on the right-hand side. I can't lift that much weight with either foot because I had years ago had the stroke on this side, so it's hard to maintain muscle strength on the left side. And then the right side, it just aggravates the pinched nerves. So there have been mornings where I've had to text Mike and go, "Are you still home? Can you come get me and rescue me? Because I have him and Gimli, and they're, one's between my knees and the other one on top of the blanket, and the other one's across my ankles. I can't move." And they refuse to move. So they trap Mom in bed, and they think it's funny. And they give him an argument, too. They don't want to move. They think it's great fun to lay on Mom. Mom does not think it's great fun to lay on Mom. No, it's not that much fun. Not at all. Not at all. So, but, we do what we can. And I saw Charlie today. Charlie has a new wound under here now. This side had healed up to just a spot size slightly bigger than a golf ball. Like it was as wide as a golf ball, but it was a little longer than one. That had gone from all of this to just this, but something caught the bottom of it and now it's ripped across here. So I'm still trying. I keep getting put off by one place. The other said that they could do the medical care, but then I would have to promise they'd only do it if I said I'd bring him inside the house and take care of him during his recovery. I can't do that. I don't have anywhere right now to isolate him, and I've got my hands full with these guys. So no, I just can't. I know my limits, and he needs somebody that doesn't have limits too, because once if they can even stitch that closed, if not, he's got to be in a foster house that they can change his bandages. And because there's such a big chunk of skin still missing, I don't see how they'll be able to stitch it closed. It's not like it's just a big tear. There's like a big chunk that was gone. So that's going to need somebody that's got more training than I do and can handle doing all that, because that's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be me, because I don't have the time to commit. If I didn't have the kittens and could isolate them, I might try it, but I just don't. And while he trusts me, I don't know that he trusts me that much yet. So, but he is still letting me put that Bactaban cream on it. So he is still getting an antibiotic cream. So that's helping. Jack, one-eyed Jack, is still alive. He's periodically been back. He showed up for 2 days and then now has disappeared. But when he showed up, I would stay out there. So when Charlie came up and started growling, no, absolutely not. We're not having that. I would pick the bowl up and I'd take his food away. No growling, Jack, friend. Now, this is the same thing I did with Charlie, with Snowball, and with Gimli, so he wouldn't attack Gimli. And so he knows the term. He's figured out that, you won't get fed if you go after Gimli or Snowball. So he knows not to, and now he eats and they're on the porch. It's no big deal. But that's what I've got to get him used to with Jack, because he chased Jack off to begin with. And so I need to get him to the idea that he and Jack are okay. And Jack will only eat if I'm out there because he's terrified of Charlie. So we're working on it, but Jack is not consistently showing up because he's afraid. But what? What? Don't push that box. Leave that box alone. I don't need you knocking that over. I thought I was going to use that box, try to pack some stuff up tonight while we chatted, but I ended up filling it with the stuff that you get, that you guys knocked over. You little jerks. So, what? You want to come back up? Oh, ow, that's claws. Say hi. You want back up? You just want mom and you want petting. Oh, you're not the right way round. I see. Is this it? Is this it? Here we go. This is the right way round. All right. It's funny. They all have a specific way that I have to hold them. Elron likes me like this, but Elron will flip upside down and wants to be cradled like a baby. But he's so much smaller than the others. He fits, and I can do that one-handed. Gimli, I cannot hold one-handed. He is way too muscular, way too heavy. This guy, I can do one-handed for a little bit, but sometimes he puts his head down, thinks he's going to go to sleep. And those days are over. He's gotten too big and too heavy, and it aggravates the hernias if he tries to sleep on me. So, yes, you just want some mom time. You haven't had any day. Arwen will sometimes climb up onto the desk while I'm trying to work and she wants petting. And occasionally she'll climb onto my lap, but I cannot hold her. She does not want to let anybody hold her. Frodo, just last month, has started climbing up, and he wants to be held and go to sleep in my arms. And that's only been in the last couple of weeks. Just started last month. So that's taken 2 years for him to get to where he will let me. He won't let Michael yet, but he'll let me. And it's because he's chosen to come. Any other time when I used to pick him up, he'd run away. So he is now choosing to come up and be cuddled. So that's a good thing. So he's finally gotten used to it. It's only taken 2 years, but he's finally gotten used to it. Yeah, because as near as we could tell, your birthday was April 1st. Because I got you guys, I was looking, somebody asked me, did I have a photo what they looked like? And it's from April 22nd when I got them. It's when by then I had all 5 of them. I got the first one on April 21st. That was Frodo, and he was the runt of the litter. And he don't look like it now, but I had to bottle feed him the first 2 days. And I still gave him some formula even when we got their mother in, because he just needed the extra because of the fact that he was so tiny. But he grew up quickly to match his brothers with that extra feeding. But yeah, I had all 5 of you in the house by April 22nd. So near as I could tell from your size, you were born somewhere right around April 1st. So that's what I go by, is that their birthday was then. So they are now all 2 years old. And 8 adoptions fell through, so at this point, they are family. Yes, you're all staying now. I never expected to have 6 cats in the house. I didn't want more than 2. Yeah. Now, how can we separate you from Gimli? Because you two are a bonded pair. Yeah. And Elrond's my boy. And you're a mama's boy. Gimli's a daddy's boy. And you're sometimes a daddy's boy. Yeah. But Elrond is 100% mama's boy. Can I put you down now? Because you're beginning to get to me. Okay. You got your front feet. Hey, you can't see it. His front feet are tucked under. He's ready. He's ready to stay. You got to go down, baby. Yeah. You know, I'm tilting and you're no. You got to go find daddy. Go to sleep. Go to sleep in daddy's room. Or my bedroom door is open. I'm sure, since I've forgotten left the door open, I'm sure at least Elrond and Gimli are probably already on my bed. No, don't chew paper. Stop that. Yeah, he's a sweet boy, Deborah. He really is. But the only problem I have, real problem, was with him and Arwen. And Frodo likes chewing on cardboard. Elrond will occasionally tear apart a cardboard box. But the twins here, Arwen and Aragorn, they like to shred paper. No! Give me that. Give me the paper. Go. Go. No, you cannot have the paper. You cannot have the newspaper. You cannot have the bookmark you guys knocked down. And this is a bill that should have been taken upstairs, isn't it? What are you a bill for? Oh, okay. You're already on a payment plan. You're just a thing telling me. He's trying to plate them and shred them. Oh, my goodness. So does anybody have any plans for April? I mean, ours is Ruth. Mike is going to offer some money to the kids doing the high adventure trip if they want to earn some money to cover the expense of the trip. He's gonna, we have some money set aside that if we don't need it for the roofer, we're going to use it on them so that they can come rip out the ivy. Since I'm allergic to regular ivy, and Mike doesn't like doing yard work. So between the two of us, we've got enough that if we figured if we offer, there's 10 of them, I think 8 or 10 going on this trip, and he was willing to offer them $20 an hour for however many, hours. If only one kid shows up and wants to put in the hours, he'll get all the money. But we talked to the adult committee of that, and they were like, well, they think $10 an hour would be enough. We may compromise at 15, but have them come and be supervised, and they would rip out all the ivy for me. But that's got to be after the roof, and because that'll decide how much money there is to do that with. So that'd be great. That helps the kids who are trying to earn money for the high adventure trip, and at the same time, it greatly helps me out with the yard because ivy is just overtaken the place. Ivy and saplings, and I can't get them all down. I can deal with saplings, but I can't deal with the ivy. So, fingers crossed. So those are the two big plans for April. And get the roof, and then get the ivy gone, and then we'll deal. There's other things that could be done, but they all hinge on these first two getting done. So we're not gonna look too far ahead. Mike says that's he sees me do that all the time, and I get myself discouraged. I try to make these plans, and I make them for up to 6 months out, and he's like, you need to stop doing that because you're getting yourself too overloaded, and just focus on 1 or 2 things, and that's got to be what you do. He's right, because I do that, and then things like the packing list or getting my own tests set up for the doctors always ends up putting on the back burner. So he's right. I do that, and I'm more worried about what's upcoming than I am about what's right in front of me. And I need to stop doing that, pay more attention to what's directly in front of me. How many of you do that? Is there stuff that you just, for whatever reason, either feel guilty because you didn't get to it yet, like this packing list, or whatever reason, but there's stuff that you should take care of right now, but you kind of like ignore it so that you're looking at stuff that has to get done for future you instead of taking care of current you and doing what you need to get done, what you should be getting done. He's right. I mean, I didn't realize how bad I was at doing that, how bad I'd become. But he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. So we're trying to change up my game plan. He, on the other hand, has the habit of not thinking far enough. And he has the attitude of, oh, it'll work itself out. What are you doing? My rug is not a scratching post. I know it's the same kind of crappy rug material they use for scratching posts, but it's not a scratching post. It's just a rug remnant back here anyway, but so does anybody, am I the only one that ever does that? Am I alone in this, or do any of you ever done that? And you start worrying about the stuff, that's upcoming more than you worry about what's right in front of you that has to get done. I can't be the only one. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Mike, on the other hand, doesn't do any of that, and he tends to like, oh, it'll work itself out, and then he realizes, oh, darn it, this is due, in 3 days, I got to hurry up and do this. And so he sometimes has the opposite problem where he doesn't plan and backfires. Absolutely backfires because he didn't take care of it in time. And that's stuff that's, relatively close deadline sometimes. So we both agreed that we're both gonna work on that and try to get better at it. Let's see. Da-da. Well, I see I'm going to be looking up a video for Val. I just wrote McCoy Planter. Which one? I've got a couple of them sold sitting here that I need to take care of. That's not good. So, oh, my chat has just like disappeared. You guys are still there, aren't you? Says I have 15 watching. So now you're going to lay your head on my shoe. Okay. You're just not going to leave Mom, are you? He's on the floor with his head on my shoe. So Nora's here. Cat leather box. That is right there. Milkweed seeds. Should be in the leather box. Where's the vase stamped Germany? Ah, that's in the playroom. I know where that is. Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh man. Still looking for this plate. Let's see. The little purple owl is the morning owl. That's the little purple one. Morning owl. I had named them all. Once you get enough people with that have that are members of the channel, then I can get more. You can only get so many emojis until you get more people that actually pay the membership for the channel. So I only have 5 right now. What do I have? Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the description has it. It has the that's the old description. It has the Amazon wish list for the cat stuff to help with these cats, which I need to change that because that still says kittens, and at 2 years old, they ain't kittens so much anymore. And the 2 outside ones. Oh, you've put them all up. Okay, so the first one is the night owls. The lavender one is the morning owl. The orange one is the OCD owl. And then that last one is the loopy owl, because you guys have seen me some nights where I'm just so tired or I'm on medication that has made me loopy. So I figured there had to be a loopy owl. So yeah, there's the membership rates in the description for night owls and for fairy realm. And then the link for that, the eBay store, the Etsy. Where's the buy me a coffee? Oh, there you go. The buy me a coffee thing for buying me a tea. So that has to get changed too, because I haven't been, I've been, once we got the kittens fixed and their shots, I've changed the buy me a tea. That's what's been going into the roof fund, so that I keep that going. Because the price will go up a little bit because it depends on how much rotted wood they find. Because that is going to be an expense. And the price of lumber has been like insane. So I did let him know that I do have some lumber in the basement, but it's been down there, so we'd have to take a look at it and see what's still good. See if any of it's usable, that maybe some of that can be used, which would help, you know, cut some of the excess costs down, because it's in the contract that cost of lumber would be, they don't want to buy lumber until they know what they have to get. So the cost is then, that would be above and beyond what the actual contract, that would be extra. And that's some of the stuff that, you know, that grant doesn't cover 100% of the repair. And that extra, any extra would be out of our pockets. So that's a limited budget. You okay? Kitty? Who was that? Either two of them just chased themselves down the steps, or one of them fell down the steps, possibly with one chasing it. Kitties! Oh, oh, there they go back upstairs. I thought zoomies were done. Apparently not. That does not sound like a herd of elephants, so I'm guessing that's Arwen and Elrond, because that sounds like cats that are very lightweight. When Gimli comes down the steps, or Aragorn comes down the steps, it is like a small herd of horses, because they're the two biggest and the most weight. Frodo is big and long, not a lot of muscle, so he's not as much weight. But Arwen and Elrond's only this long, whereas Frodo and Aragorn are, so Elrond is like this long. Frodo and Aragorn and Gimli, especially Frodo and Aragorn, they're this long. Gimli's a little shorter, but he's still about 3 inches longer than Elrond. Elrond I can lift in one hand. He's tiny. Part Siamese, very lightweight, very springy though, but yeah, he's not all muscle. So you can tell the difference on the wooden staircase when you hear them come down the steps. You can absolutely tell if it's, you know, one of the bigger, heavier three, or if it's the two small ones. And that sounded an awful lot like two small ones. So I think they're just chasing each other again. Again. They're such trouble. Absolute trouble. Oh, she's who the mini frogs go to. I just found those. Okay, come on. Where is... I still have not found this plate that these little suckers broke. Mind you, the two other plates that fell, not a thing happened to them because they were restaurant ware. I mean, you got to really whack those suckers to break them, and they were vintage. And I was like, you know, why couldn't you break that? Because I had others of that same pattern. Where are you? And I hear them on the steps again. This is my day. I mean, it's like having toddlers run all over the house, except for the most part, they do less mischief, but at the same time, some of the mischief they can get into is more problematic because they can get into places that toddlers can't, because they can leap. Makes for a problem. Absolutely makes for a problem. That was fabric. That was already sent. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm... Oh, now they did it. They woke up Michael. Oh, that's trouble. That's trouble. Now they woke up Dad. Now they're liable to get banned from the room. He likes to sleep with his door open, but I think they're about to get tossed. That's not good. Nope, that's the button. Come on, I'm on the last page. I thought I would have found this plate by now. It was this really cool Japanese lusterware plate with a really pretty scene on it. And these little jerks. Because what they did is they got to wrestling and they managed to push over. And I don't know which two it was because I was in my room and I woke up to hearing it. But they knocked over this. It's the thing they knocked over is like this wide, and it's about 3 feet tall, but it is drafting paper, and I use it for packing or wrapping stuff, and it's really heavy. And because it's so wide, it's usually not a problem. It's also wedged in between other things, but they managed to knock it over anyway. And it whacked over, that fell over, and some of the stuff it was wedged against fell over, which then hit the box that had the other box sitting on top of it, and it knocked that over. So they caused quite the, problem. So they're just trouble. It's just because they got spring fever. And let's see here. A lot of books. Marcy's books. Oh, Lisa's kittens right there. I got that shipped out tomorrow. Last page. Where is that plate? You know what? There's one page missing. It's Fiona's stuff. That must still be upstairs with Mike's room. It must be Fiona's then, because that's the only one I'm missing, and I haven't found that plate. So I'm gonna have to let Fiona know that I've got one thing I can't send. But it does happen. And I'm not going to let myself go into that dark place of, well, you shouldn't have fallen behind, because that doesn't do me any good. Because it just, you ever had that where you think something and then those depressing thoughts just slow you down and it like kills your energy level? And I'm not having that. I've got a lot to do this weekend. I want to get out the door. I mean, this week I've had a funeral to be at, too, so I've had enough. I've had enough. I don't want anything else slowing me down. I'm done with the kidney infection and the Cipro making me sleep, and the headache should be gone soon. I'm done. I want all that done so that I can get back to getting a life organized and work done. So, and Gary's coughing away. Be nice if he could stay out of the hospital for a while. Getting worried about him. So, but yeah, these are the, where'd the other two go? There's the other one. I had just found these, and these are sold, but they are so friggin' cute. They are teeny little, let's turn it up, froggies. They're so cute. Little tiny frogs. And I've been looking for them and I didn't realize I had stuck them inside of another little box to keep them safe. And so now I have them. So now I can get them shipped out and dealt with. Let's see, that reading list challenge of the books, I started on those. I have the one because I just got an email from Goodreads saying, hey, have you finished reading the one you got as the giveaway about they came for our schools. So I needed to start. I started that one yesterday, but I had already started one of the old ones. Remember, there was a really old one, only about that big, and here it was, a copy of the Scarlet Letter. I have looked it up. I did start reading that. I'm only about 30 pages in. That one is a Harry Altimus book. Harry Altimus, I don't know how you pronounce it, but those books are incredibly gorgeous covers. Usually, people will collect them just for that. Now, this cover is very old and faded, but the plates are still inside of the illustrations. So, considering the condition, it's only worth about $9 to $12. But I did find out that it is the Scarlet Letter, and it was probably printed between 1890 and 1900. It was part of a series of classics they did that all had certain floral covers. So they had the same pattern, but it was different colored background fabric. And all of them were illustrated. The condition that one's in would only be $9 to $12, but it includes something that is not usually found in modern editions of the Scarlet Letter. It has the actual introduction that he wrote in the book was originally printed in 1850, and then in 1863 he did a new opening introduction, because apparently there were things that he wrote in the first one that caused a fuss. So this particular book has in it his apology for whatever happened with the first introduction, and the new introduction from 1863 in it, which is neither one of those things is found in modern books. So so that's part of the reason it's actually like worth anything to scholars. Because of that. It's not that there's any major revisions where modern things have drastically changed it. Not like the Nancy Drew books. If you get the Nancy Drew books written prior to World War II, they are quite different, some of them, than the ones I grew up reading, because they had, to some extent, dumbed it down. They also made her younger. They made her, basically, she's a teenager in high school in the versions that I read, the rewrite. But if you see the ones before then, she carries a gun in some of them. Her father is still a lawyer and has taught her how to properly handle a pistol. That's certainly not in what I read. It is in the early ones. And in the early ones, she's in college. She's older. She's 20. So, yeah, and she's very much more like private investigator kind of thing. So they dumbed it down at some point after World War II. They rewrote it and made her a high school student and dumbed it down. But if you can get your hands on those early ones, they are fantastic detective novel kind of things. They are really, really good. And it wasn't written. Carolyn Keene was not. That was just a nom de plume. It was just a fake name, but they were written by a man. And he wrote some of the Bobbsey children as well. I cannot remember his name. But he wrote, was it Dana Girls or something Dixon? He wrote one. There were 3 different ones: the Bobbsey children, Nancy Drew, and I think maybe the Dana Girls. He wrote them all. And he may or may not have written some of the Hardy Boys books, because there were several authors, I think. Not 100% sure on that, but I think there were several authors for some of the Hardy Boys books. I think there were at least 3. So they're very different, but the Scarlet Letter's not, except for the fact that you have this information in the beginning that isn't in the current releases. So I'm working on that. I'm still working on Future Shock, which is very in-depth and sometimes takes time to think about. And even though it was written in the 60s when computers were just coming in, I'm finding some stuff surprisingly still accurate today, as you see manufacturing where robots have taken over, and you see how AI is supposedly going to make our lives so much easier because it'll give us more free time and AI can take over running the plant. Well, all that means is that people get unemployed. So if you don't have a universal wage somehow, people are not going to be able to survive. So how do you figure that out for capitalism? That doesn't work. That's end stage capitalism. When they find some way to make everything automated, then nobody has any money because they have no job. So how can they buy your stuff that you're having these robots put out? Kathy, did you not? I thought you did. I will double check. Kathy. So that one's been one where I've had to stop and think about it a lot. That's one of those ones where you read a little bit and then you kind of just let it bounce around for a little bit. And so I've got them going on. It's funny because when I've been to the one doctor's office, he's like, every time I see you, you have a different book. And I'm like, that's because you see me once every 3 months. So by then I've gone through a couple of books. So, but I'm going to go now. And I'm going to double check here for Kathy. Oh, for the Balik. You're right. I still owe you the Balik and the Bloomer Girl. I looked at this and I was like, yeah, but your invoice was sent in November of 23 and you should have already gotten that. But no, you're right. It's about the Balik. The Balik is upstairs, all packed and sitting on the table with the Bloomer Girl. Because I took that upstairs to do it. And then with everything that's going on, I did not. You will have it tomorrow. I absolutely promise, because I will have to go up there anyway. Get your Balik from 3rd floor. I'm writing it down so I can weigh it and invoice you, because I do have to get up again at 7 o'clock this morning because while he was not able to, the roofer was not able to get here to start on anything, he is supposed to get today. He is now supposed to come tomorrow and start to at least start getting the vines off the roof, set the trap for the 2 raccoons, and see what he can do about the piece that goes across the front of the house, because that's a slight curve. That's just this roll of stuff that goes all the way across, which we actually have a roll of it in the backyard. So they're going to use that. So that'll save on money, but they've got to take the old one up, make sure there's no rotted wood, and put that down. And they should be here by 7:30. So that means I need to be awake at 7. And might actually have to drink coffee in the morning. We all know Nancy's not a morning owl. Yes, definitely, Kathy, you will have your invoice, because they have to go out that window to get to the front part of the house. And I don't want, I have 3 boxes up there of breakables that all got packed up and need to come down here to get weighed. And I don't want them anywhere near the workmen going in and out that window. So yes, you will have it. And yeah, I know, Nora, you haven't either. Your Balik is up there as well, and so is what's the other one? The white glass for Stephanie, that heavy glass ashtray is up there as well. So, but yes, I will. So we have Nora. And then Steph's ashtray. because I'm going to have to send Steph stuff as 2 boxes because those wooden roses are just, they're too delicate to put with that heavy ashtray. So she knows about that. So I will go make sure I get you guys all in the morning because they are all packed with the funeral this week, and then I'm still coming up. So I mean, I know he was in his 80s, and I know he had leukemia. And just I used to work for the guy. So yeah. But that's, you know, my life has still got to go on. I still got stuff to do. But your stuff is ready to go. I gotta grab it in the morning. I made a note. I started my list for tomorrow. This is my blank sheet for tomorrow, and you guys are right on the top of it. So you will have yours tomorrow. Absolutely. Warren. Photos for Warren. Photos for Warren. Got it written down. I live off lists, and my lists have all been Scout for the last 2 weeks. And that's gotta, I have some breathing room because we aren't having any border reviews next Wednesday because that's Patrol Leader Conference and the run-through rehearsal for the Court of Honor at the end of the month. So, the pressure's off a little bit, so I can. This weekend is all you guys. I have to put in some requirements into the off of my pirate scrolls of advancement. Because it was the easiest way to do a spreadsheet was to draw it out. Kids all thought it was hysterical because they'd never seen anybody do that before. Everything for them is all computer and Excel. And here I come in with this old pirate scroll kind of papers. But I've got some breathing room, but I have to put them in first thing in the morning. I will get your boxes out of there because I have to go up there and I want everything out of the way from that window. And I don't want anybody's product isn't quite the right word, but you know what I mean. I don't want anybody's product on that table by the window. And I have packed up everything that I had taken up there. And the stuff that's not packed is stuff that's from people that I owed to from a while ago, and they have not emailed back whether they still want it or not. But I will move that out of that room because I want that table cleared since they're going to be right by it going past it to get in and out the window to the roof. So that will be it first thing in the morning. I even raised the blind, the shade in my room because I know that this week and next week I have to be up at the ungodly hour of 7 and up. Like if I can't get up, I'm gonna have to set the alarm for 6:30 and then set it for every 15 minutes to get me up. God, I really don't want to do that. But he should be here for the small stuff tomorrow, and then next week I think we're supposed to have rain Monday and Tuesday, and then the rest of the week's supposed to be clear, so that the rest of the week they'll be doing the rest of the roof, and I'll have to be up early all week long. So I can focus just on you guys. Get it all done. Oh, he's coming back. What do you want? You want more cuddle? You're just here because you want to go to sleep with me in my room. It's the only reason you're stalking me, Aragorn. The only reason you're stalking me, dude. So I'm going to go and get a cup of chamomile tea and see if it helps put me to sleep. And I will. Yeah, I used to do that too before Mike moved back in, because none of the plugs were by the bed, but I end up plugging the phone in right by the plug that's right by the bed, because the other plug that's across the room, when my dad and brother-in-law rewired that room, they screwed it up. So now that plug only has electric when you turn the big overhead light on. So that's no fun. But I upped my shade so that the morning sun will come right in my eyes and right on my face and wake me up. But we're not quite, the sun isn't quite all the way in my face by 7 a.m. It's still over that way. We'll get there. I now have the phone alarm set at that, like I had them set so that it would start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it would have one that would go off, and then the next one would go off at 8:30, and then 8:45, and then 9 o'clock, and that would work. But yeah, if I have to back that up to be going off at 6 and then 6:30 and 6:45 and 7, I'm not going to be happy. I have never been great at getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Never. So, so yeah. Yeah, if it's raining again, which is not supposed to be tomorrow, then I can just go and go, okay, reset and put what's programmed in there for the regular time. Because then the other problem too is when I get up, I am so stiff from the pinched nerve, and I have to do, it takes me an hour to normally do all of the stretches for my spine and for my feet, so I don't have planners come back again. So that now takes an hour of stretching every morning. And I usually do that before I ever get up and get all the way dressed, just because it's easier. And a lot of the stretches for the hip and the spine, because it is that lower fifth lumbar where it's below the small of your back, they're done while you're flat, on your back. So I got to do them in the bed. uh, so yeah, that's another reason why I don't tend to start, my day doesn't really get started till 10 o'clock now, because I'm finally fully awake by 9, but I've got an hour of stretches to do. So yeah, I warned him that if you knock on the door at 7:30, be prepared for it to take about 10 minutes for me to get down the stairs, because I will be so stiff. So, but it's not supposed to be raining tomorrow morning. So I will have to get to bed and then try to get to sleep by 1 a.m. That doesn't always happen. Your brain starts racing on all this other stuff. So I still have chamomile tea left. Do I have any more tension tamer? Mike found that. It's celestial somebody. It's called tension tamer. I don't know what's in it. That's really good. It tastes good and it works real well. Puts you to sleep. But it certainly does help. So, all right, I will see you guys. Next week will be a live sale. Watch your emails. I want to get everything gone. Keep working on it all weekend. Mike will be out of the house most of tomorrow, and I think most of Saturday, which is good because then he's not a distraction. We've had a lot to talk about because he's the new incoming scoutmaster, and the outgoing is pretty much already handed everything over to him. So I haven't tried Sleepy Time Celestial Seasonings. I haven't tried their Sleepy Time. I have chamomile I pick up wherever I find cheap chamomile, but I haven't tried their Sleepy Time yet. But there's already stuff that Mike has started changing, and some of it impacts my job directly. And then some of it's going to impact summer camp. So some things he wants to bounce off me. So lately we've been having a lot of conversations about scouts where we're both sitting there with a notepad like it was actually some corporate meeting. So I'd be glad to have him out of the house for 2 days because he's had this week off because we thought the roofers would be here all week. And so no. And of course we had rain. So it'll just be me to oversee everything when they are here next week. Unless he can work from home. So I'm going to go watch for invoices. Warren, watch for email for photos. I will get the leak stuff downstairs here and get them weighed and the invoice written up for you two ladies. And I apologize to everybody for not getting their Easter stuff out because I really had wanted to get that out before Easter. But I also thought Easter was I thought Easter was in April, guys. I thought it was the first weekend, the first Sunday in April. I did not realize it was the last Sunday of March. I thought there was going to be another week there. I also didn't expect to have other physical issues happen or a funeral. So, but life is full of surprises and changes. All you can do is learn to roll with it. I just need to learn to roll a little faster. So have a good weekend. Stay dry if you can. I hope in your area, wherever you may be, that the weather is good and kind to you. Because some areas have been really getting waffled hard in different parts of the country, in different parts of the whole planet. And I hope you all have a nice, healthy weekend for all of us, and that we can see each other again next Thursday night for a live sale. If I get a chance this weekend, maybe I'll actually get something filmed, but I'm not 100% counting on that. We'll see what happens. All right, have a good night, everybody. And if you like what you see, by all means, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up, and leave a comment leave a comment after you watch the playback. Bye, guys. Good night.